Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nadhirah binti Abd Basir from group number 8 and this is our presentation for SPEQ 3173 Civil Engineering. Firstly, I would like to introduce my group members. First, Abdullah Fahmi bin Ismail, Syahirah binti Alias, and Siti Mardiana binti Bakhari. The construction that we have choose for this assignment is box culvert construction. So, what are culverts? Culverts are the structure that allow water to flow under the road, railroad, trail or other obstruction from one side to the other side. It commonly used a cross drain to relieve drainage of ditches at the roadside and to pass water under a road at natural drainage and stream crossings. The culvert have variety size and shape. So, the example of the shape is round shape, elliptical shape, flat bottom, open bottom, pierce shape, and box-like. Now, the detail of the project. The client for this project is Jabatan Kerja Raya Malaysia, Cawangan Jalai. The consultant that involved in this project is Khairi Consult Sendian Berhad and the contractor is MBI Consortium Hati Muda Sendian Berhad. The location of this project is road from Nilai Labu to Bandar Estate Nikelae, Seremban Negeri Sembilan. This project was started on July 2017 and the cost of this project is 358,523 ringgit.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Mardiana and I will explain about the type of the culvert. Culvert is come in a various shapes such as box slide, bottom, flat bottom, spear shape, round, and leaf skirt. It is responsible for the capacity of the load and the water flow, their lifespan and bedding, and also backfill installation. To determine the type of the culvert that was used in the construction, it was depends on the various factors. For the example is hydraulic, height of highway, upstream and other conditions. For the first type of culvert that was usually used in construction is box culvert. Box culvert was the one that we will use in our project. Box culvert was made up from the reinforced concrete. It was the common that always be found in this construction. When uh, when it was constructed, the surface of the culvert is need to be dry. There are two advantages why box culvert is suitable and famous. First is it was suitable for the wet foundation, and the second is lower board slab decrease the soil load. The second type of culvert is arch culvert. Arch culvert was constructed from the metal, concrete, masonry, stone, RCC, and other material. It did not take a long time to construct it compared to the box culvert. The water redirection is not required in this construction because it was not disrupt the current of the water. There are a few advantages when there are a few advantages why contractor use arch culvert. First, it was cost saving. Second, the design was aesthetic, and lastly, the greatest hydraulic efficiency. The next culvert is metal box culvert. Metal box culvert is quite similar with box culvert, but the difference is metal box culvert was constructed using metal. The advantage for this culvert is it was long service life, durability, easy installation, shorter construction of the period, and deformation ability. The next culvert is bridge culvert. Bridge culvert has two functions. First is as a bridge and second is as a culvert. Bridge Culvert was built on the river and canal. The advantage of the bridge culvert is, first, it was quite strong. Second, it was enabled traffic to move on it. And lastly, it was extremely have a stable foundation. The last culvert type of culvert is pipe culvert. Pipe culvert has a various forms such as square, elliptical, and tubular. The definition of the shape of the pipe culvert is depends on the site condition and constraint. The advantage when used pipe culvert is it was cost effective, and the second is water coursing below the structure.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syahirah binti Alias, and today I would like to present more about the technique to construct the culvert. Okay, culverts are like pipe but very large in size. They are made of many types of materials such as concrete, steel, plastic, aluminium, and high density polyethylene. In most cases, concrete culverts are preferred. Concrete culverts may be reinforced and no reinforced. In some cases, culverts are constructed on a site called cast-in situ culvert. Precast culverts are also available. By the combination above materials, we can also get composite culvert types. And after that, there have a selection on the technique to construct the culverts. Maybe we can see a few things in order to select the technique to construct the culverts. First, we can see the possibility impact on all or any matters related to water quality, navigation, wetlands, flooding, agriculture drainage, and so on. And after that, maybe we can see through appropriate stormwater soil erosion control. And for the third, covered size and placement, fish passage, and flow control during installation. Okay, for the biggest covered like our project, in situ concrete covered are cost effective options. And then we can see um, through rainfall patterns because in situ concrete cover should be installed during season of low rainfall um, to reduce in order to reduce the risk of damage and erosion during construction. And finally, maybe we can see for the pipe covers. Pipe covered may be circular, elliptical, box covered, or even pipe arc. Circular and box is the most common shape that we use to construct the covers. Okay, in our project, the shape of covers that we use is box covered, and that's the suitable techniques to construct by using in situ concrete covered. Okay, there are two techniques to construct the covered, which is for the first is precast concrete covered and in situ concrete covered. Okay, first we go to the precast concrete covered. Okay, precast concrete covered is poured and molded over rebar or wire and then cured off-site. This involves pouring concrete into pre-made mold and then curing them under perfect condition inside the manufacturing plant itself. When it's hardened and ready for use, the preformed concrete product are shipped to the construction site and where they are assembled into the desired structure. Okay, for the second type is in situ concrete covered. Okay, in our project, actually we are using the in situ concrete covered. What is an in situ concrete covered? In comparison to precast concrete covered, the site often referred to as in situ concrete is poured, molded, and cured on site. Like precast concrete, concrete covered is shaped in the shape of a mold and then lifted in place. In the case of a structure that requires large, unwieldy, and customized concrete mold, there is typically a way to go. Besides, Precast concrete culvert requires more joints and therefore less suited for earthquake-prone regions. For those structures in place where the structure needs to be earthquake-proof, in-situ concrete culvert is usually the perfect option. However, there are very specific instances where in-situ is the best approaches. Okay, cast in situ concrete culvert offer flexibility in the sizing of the culvert openings and in the alignment of the culvert barrel. The in situ option is generally preferred for very large culverts due to the weight of such large precast unit. And in situ culvert will have less joints than the precast option, and reinforcing steel can pass through the construction joint, minimizing the risk of movement at the joint. And cast-in situ concrete culvert are also more labor intensive than the precast option, which is providing increasing employment opportunities for local labor. Okay, for the next, um, why we choose the in situ concrete culvert techniques? Okay, the primary benefit of in situ concrete culvert is a high level of strength. It is relatively resistant to structural damage in the event of an earthquake, flood, or other natural disaster. Builders can make in situ concrete culvert even stronger by using steel reinforcement bar or rebar, which is inserted in the form before the concrete is poured in. Another advantage of in-situ concrete culvert is the high degree of insulation is provided. This includes thermal insulation, which keep basement from taking on the cold temperature and moisture from the earth around them. In-situ concrete culvert are also insulated for sound, making home quieter. Its insulation properties extend to insect, mold, and mildew, none of which can penetrate in situ concrete culvert easily since there are no natural cracks or gaps between sections of covered materials. And for the last, why we choosing in situ concrete culvert is high versatile, meaning that contractor can use it for a variety of type of structure. Computer modeling program allow builders to design highly precise, customizable form. In other case, builders can reuse standard form for in situ concrete culvert. This versatile, this versatility make cast in place concrete appropriate both for modest construction and large architectural and ambitious project.
My name is Abdullah Fahmi and I will present about the design of the culvert. In this project, the box culvert design came with dimension size 69.91 meter length, 5.5 meter width and 5.7 meter height. The top slab of the culvert is designed with 0.6 thick and there is 300 times 300 chamfer designed to make the corner of the top slab thicker and make the structure become stronger. The design of the bottom slab came with 0.6 meter thick and the surface design of the bottom slab is tilted, which allow fall to make the water flow smoothly and prevent water stagnant at the bottom slab. Next, porous part, filter layer and granular material was designed and placed beside the vertical sidewall to remove the water table. For the design of the expansion joint, 600 mm long dowel bar of one part sidewall will insert to the 30 mm diameter PVC pipe of another part of the sidewall and seal. The gap between the wall is filled with 12 mm thick joint filler and finished by Theoflex 600 sealant to prevent any water from pass through the wall gap. For the design of the wing wall is located at the both end of the culvert, which is inlet and outlet to provide smooth entry and exit of the water. The design type that is used in this project is plate wing wall, which has 15 and 30 degree connection between wing wall and the culvert wall. For the design of the pile, the cross-section design of the pile came with size 230 mm x 230 mm and complete with 25 x 25 mm chamfer of each side of the pile. The starter pile came with design 6 meter long, which made of concrete grade 40, 8 high tensile bar with 10 mm diameter and stirrup. At the bottom part of the starter pile, the shape design is bit sharp and made of solid cast iron to ensure the pile can penetrate the soil smoothly. While the design of the top part of the starter pile, there is 35 mm diameter hole which to connect with the extension pile. Next, for the extension pile, the design came with 12 meter long. At the bottom part of the extension pile, there is 300 mm long high tensile with 32 mm diameter protruding at the bottom part of the extension pile to connect with the top part of the starter pile. To strengthen the connection, a mild steel plate located at the top part of the starter pile and bottom part of the extension pile will weld together.
Next, construction process. First, we have to review and preparation. The survey point should be marked in both directions aligned by the number of stations from the control point. Benchmark must also be created at a near site location where no interruptions occur during the implementation phase. Benchmarks should be checked at regular intervals when needed. All measuring instruments used should be calibrated periodically according to the calibration plan. Survey, examination report, or other relevant data should be kept in the relevant examination format. The second one is dehydration. As mentioned before, the construction site of culvert must be dry. Disposal of water before excavation will begin according to site condition must be done before starting the construction. If necessary, water should be diverted through other channels or otherwise watering is done if necessary. Water pumped out will be discharged at the farthest point to the maximum level. The surface water source should be checked and, if possible, stop this flow or switch to other stream. The next one is excavate. To form areas to build a box culvert, it should be excavated with a backhoe and finishing work can be done with a shovel, with the dimensions and grade specified on the construction drawings. The dimension of trench for this project to be made is 17 meter long times to 5.5 meter wide and 5 meter high. The next one is piling. The type of piling used in this project is reinforced concrete piles. Hydraulic hammers have been used for piling work. Before the piles are penetrated, they should place the pile point at the construction site at a distance of 3 meters from center to facilitate the piling work. The pile has penetrated starting with the starting pile and continuing with the advanced pile or extension pile. To strengthen the connection, a lightweight steel plate located at the top of the starter pile and the bottom of the connection pile are welded together. The next one is bottom slab, wall and top slab. This box culvert is made at the construction site. It starts by making a bottom slab, which is the bottom for the box culvert. Before build this bottom slab, the blinding will be laid with thickness of 50 millimeters. First, the reinforcement begin to be installed according to the shape that straight and bend and arrangement as shown in the construction drawing. After that, place the formwork out of wood according to the shape of the bottom slab based on the drawings. The concrete will be poured according to 0.60 meter thickness. The grade of the concrete used is grade 40 because the culvert requires strong strength. The vibrator has been used for compaction process of the concrete and left it for a few days for drying process. After the concrete of bottom slab has hardened, construction for wall and top slab will be carried out. The reinforcement will be installed and shaped according to the shape of the wall and top slab as in the construction drawing. The scaffolding will be used to support the formwork on the inside. The formwork will be assembled according to the shape specified in the drawing. After that, the concrete will be poured into the formwork and the concrete used is grade 40 for wall and top slab. The thickness of the concrete for the wall is 0.50 meter while the top slab is 0.60 meter. The vibrator will be used for the concrete compaction process. The concrete will be left for a few days for the drying process before proceeding with its construction. Expansion joint is placed at every 30 meters center to center of box culvert to connect each other and strengthen the structure of the box culvert. Once the concrete for the box culvert is dry, pour the mesh concrete over the bottom slab. The purpose of this mesh concrete is to prevent water from stagnating in the culvert. This mesh concrete is made inclined by 5 degrees to facilitate the flow of water in it. Filter layer. This filter layer is a layer that helps to prevent groundwater from contacting the concrete surface of the box culvert. It will cause the concrete to easily damage and crack. So, in this part, we will place waterproof material to help prevent the groundwater from contact with the concrete surface. Porous pipe will also be placed in this section to help remove groundwater from the soil. This will prevent the soil structure from moving or eroding. To make this filter layer, must start by placing a waterproof material on the surface of the box culvert exposed to groundwater. Place the porous pipe at the bottom of the filter layer and fill the filter layer with the soil. The next step is approach wall. The construction of approach wall is the same as the construction of bottom slab, wall and top slab. But in this part, place link concrete at the bottom of the approach wall. To make this approach wall, start by placing link concrete grade 10 at the bottom before start build the approach wall. After that, place the reinforcement and place the formwork in the section to build the approach wall according to the construction drawing. Then, pour the grade 40 concrete in this section and compact the concrete using the vibration method. This approach wall will be connected to the culvert using a 16 mm galvanized dowel bar. Next one is wing wall. To build the wing wall, firstly, place the reinforcement according to the desired size, arrangement, and shape according to the construction drawing. Place the formwork according to the shape and size of the wing wall to be built. Wing wall is connected to culvert box using a 32 mm diameter mild steel dowel bar. The mild steel bar is painted using 2 coats of bituminous material before being inserted into the wing wall and box culvert. On the outside of the connection part is placed joint sealant to strengthen and tidy the connection part. The last step is backfill. Upon completion of the all construction, the backfill process will be performed. The soil will be placed and compact throughout the box covered. The soil compaction process is done using a compactor so that the soil is more stable and safer to use for construction on the box covered.
Okay. Now I would like to talk about material that been used in the construction of Harvard. First is concrete. Concrete is a composite material composed of fine and coarse aggregate bonded together with a fluid cement that hardens over time. Concrete has relatively high compressive strength but much lower tensile strength. The construction of covered in this project using in situ concrete covered. The concrete has been used to construct wall, top slab, bottom slab, wing wall, and pile. Okay. There have a list of a few of initial concrete grade and what they have been the best use in this project is grade 10 and grade 40, which is grade 10 usually used for patio slab, pathway, and non-structural work such as link concrete. And for grade 40 is used for commercial construction such as covered, creating foundation and beams, and support and roads. And the most durable in the list is concrete grade 40 because it can withstand chemical corrosion. Also, it frequently used on farm where slurry could corrode structures or in septic tank. And for the second is the formwork. Okay. Formwork is the term used for the manufacturing process of a temporary mold into which concrete is poured and created. Traditional formwork is manufactured using wood, but it can also made by steel, plastic reinforced with glass fiber and other materials. A few specifications for choosing or uh, the selecting the shape are used in this project. The form of concrete uh, and pore temperature are critical consideration when choosing the shape since they both influence the pressure exerted. So in our project, actually we are using the traditional timber formwork. Okay, traditional timber formwork is made of um, timber and plywood on site. For larger structure, it is simple to produce, but time consuming and the plywood phase has a relatively short lifespan. It is also commonly used where the cost of labor are lower than the cost of reusable formwork manufacturing. Besides, um, another material is expansion joint, which is um, all expansion joints, all fixing shall be stainless steel. And for the last is reinforcement, which is we are in this project we are using the high tensile with a certain diameter such as 12 millimeter, 16 millimeter, 20 millimeter, 25 millimeter, and 32 millimeter. High tensile steel is utilized for pre-tensioning or post-tensioning of pre-stressed solid development construction. Carbon steel is unalloy steel which contain components like carbon, sulfur, manganese, phosphorus, and silicon. The high tensile steel composition is 0.60 to 0.80% carbon, and 0.0% sulfur, 0.60% manganese, 0.20% silicon, and 0.05% phosphorus. Since the ability to oppose force, weight, or stress um, is the strength of the material. High tensile strength is better than moderate tensile, uh, better than mild tensile steel strength. So that's why we are using high tensile steel in our project.
Next, I will explain about the type of the machineries that will be used to construct a culvert. In a construction project, machineries were really important equipment. Even in a small construction project, machineries is still need to be used. Heavy equipment refers to a heavy-duty vehicle, specifically built to perform of construction, often earthwork activities. There were many types of machineries that would be used to construct a culvert. The first machinery that was to be used is excavator. Excavator is need to be used in every project. It has a lot of functions such as digging, demolishing, handling material, driving power, and etc. In our project, excavator is used to dig the area of the box culvert. The dimension of the excavator need to dig is around 70 meters long and 5.5 meters wide, and lastly 5 meters high. So for such a big area, it needs to use an excavator. The next machinery is dump truck. Dump truck will transport the loose material such as soil, sand, gravel, and demolition waste. For our construction project, after the area around the box culvert was excavated, the dump truck will enter the site to transport the loose material to a specific location. The next machinery is pile driver. Pile driver is used to drive a pile into a soil to provide a foundation. It has two types of pile driving machinery. First is traditional pile driver and the second is vibratory pile driver. For our project, we will use a hydraulic impact hammer and it's one of the traditional pile driver. The contractor was choose to use hydraulic impact hammer because it was more environmental friendly compared to the diesel hammer. The next machinery is concrete mixer. Concrete mixer was important in every construction project. The concrete mixer weight is around 9,070 kilograms to 30,000 kilograms, and it can carry roughly around 18 kilograms concrete. The concrete will mix into the concrete mixer and then will transfer to the construction site. Then the concrete truck will pour the concrete into the hopper. The next machinery is welding. In our culvert project, welding is required because it needs a lot of metal joints. Welder need to connect the starter pile and also the extension pile. Welding also involves in a lot of systems uh, such as electrical, plumbing, ventilation, and others. The next machinery is vibrator. When the concrete will pour, air bubbles are trapped into the mix and will form a cavity and catch like a wave, or it also will call a honeycomb. Uh, Vibrator will extract the thread of air from the mixture leaving a more compact and level slab for the final product. The last machinery that will be used is compactor. Compactor used in a construction industry for the material stored by compacting There are three types of compactor that was really famous. First is roller type compactor, second is plate compactor, and lastly is jumping type compactor. For our project, we use the roller type compactor. Next, after we do some research, we have found the machinery's cost analysis, and the cost it was cost per day in Malaysia.
For the type of the labor, firstly is concreter. The task of the concreter is identifying the material for concrete mixture to produce concrete grade according to the specification requirement. Next, they have to pour the concrete into the formwork and then they will compact the concrete and flatten the concrete surface. Lastly, they have to perform curing of the concrete. Next is steel bender. In this project, steel bender will build reinforcement in the culvert bottom and top slab, vertical side wall and wing wall. The role of the steel bender is they have to identify the bar used to the structure. Next, they have to cut and bend the main bar, link and stirrup according to the design of the project. Lastly, they have to combine the bar together with wire or fasten or weld to form complete reinforcement structure. Next is carpenter. In this project, carpenter is more concentrate on their work on making formwork, such as formwork for the bottom slab of the culvert, externally and internally formwork for the vertical wall, and formwork for top slab of the culvert box structure. Next is welder. In this project, welder is needed during piling work. In this process, welder will be welding the mild steel plate located at the top part of the starter pile and the bottom part of the extension pile to strengthen the connection. Next is vibrating compactor operator. Vibrating compactor operator will immerse the vibrator into the deepest part and vibrate at the specific amplitude. The vibration will help the stiff concrete to become a fluid. Therefore, it will help the concrete fill the empty space and remove the bubble and air in the concrete structure. This vibrating process is important to avoid any porous occur in the concrete structure. Once the concrete is in place, the operator will remove the vibrator from the concrete work. Lastly is plant machinery operator. The operator of each plant play their own role. For example, excavator operator will excavate the soil to construct the culvert. Pile driver operator will driven the pile into the soil to form the foundation of the culvert. Cement mixture truck operator will ensure the concrete in a decent condition and ready to use to form the culvert structure. Dump truck operator will carry the soil to backfill the culvert when the culvert is completely constructed. Soil compactor operator will compact the soil after backfill process. Lastly, all of the plant operator has to service and apply regularly maintenance to ensure the plant machinery operated in a good condition. For the labor cost analysis, the concreter, steel bender, carpenter and welder will cost RM120 per day. Vibrating compactor operator, cement mixture truck operator and excavator operator will cost RM150 per day, while pile driver operator, dump truck operator and soil compactor operator will cost RM120 per day. If we multiply with the quantity of the labor, the total cost of the labor cost per day is RM2,250 per day.
The next one is safety and health management. Safety and health management in construction industry is very important to ensure that safety and health programs for workers are implemented to reduce the rate of accidents that happen at construction sites. Ineffective safety and health management causes workers to be exposed to unsafe working conditions, prone to disease, and the tendency to have accidents at work is high. The need for effective safety and health management is important as many incidents involving deaths happen at construction sites. There are a few ways to prevent accidents at a construction site. First, provide safety training for all employees. Employers should educate employees on all workplace safety standards and the hazards that they may face while on the job. The second one is hold frequent crew safety meetings. At some workplaces, these meetings should be held daily. For example, if high-risk work is being done. The third one is utilize protective clothing gear. Workers should always wear the recommended safety equipment for their jobs. This may be a hard hat, high visibility clothing, goggles, gloves, steel-toe shoes, or a protective suit. The next one is keep the workspace clean. Keeping work areas clean and free of debris will lessen the chance of construction worker injuries and help prevent worksite accidents such as slips, trips, and falls. The next one is maintain the equipment and tools. Before using a piece of equipment or machinery, workers must ensure it is in proper working order. Tools and machinery should be kept on a regular inspection. The other way is prevent falls. It is important that workers are protected from falls on the job. The installation of fall protection system can protect construction workers. This system should consist of such items as guardrails, two boards, screens, canopy structures, or nets. Scaffolding can prevent falls, but must be installed properly to make sure it is constructed well enough and must be inspected regularly. The other one is recognize the hazards and make a plan. Before any project starts, the site should be inspected for any unusual hazards. A risk assessment can protect workers' health and safety. The next one is be careful with vehicles. Many fatal accidents on work sites involve vehicles. Defensive driving, parking, and braking should be practiced. The other one is use equipment in the manner prescribed. If construction tools or equipment is used in ways for which it is not designed, the manufacturer's built-in safety features can no longer be relied on. The equipment itself should meet OSHA standards. The last one is follow OSHA guidelines and report any dangerous working conditions. Employers and employees who cut corners on the procedures and rules of OSHA increase the risk for construction site injuries. Any incidents or violation of OSHA regulations should be recorded and reported for the safety of all involved.
Next is traffic management. The first function of the traffic management is keeping the pedestrian and plant vehicle apart. For example, in this project, entrance and exit for the pedestrian and vehicle is built separately to avoid any worker hit by the plant vehicle. Next, road for the pedestrian and vehicle in the construction site also built separately with clear mark to notify the differences. Barrier also is installed to separate the pedestrian road and plant vehicle road. Lastly, clear signage is located at the crossing part where intersection between pedestrian road and plan vehicle road to ensure the driver and pedestrian be aware of each other. Next, the traffic management function is minimizing vehicle in the construction site. For example, in this project, parking area is provided outside of the construction area so that labor and visitor have to parking their vehicle at the parking area before entering the site. Secondly, controlling the entry of the work area. For instance, in this project, boom gate is used by security guard in controlling entry of the vehicle to the work area. Lastly, is build storage area at the strategic place so that delivery vehicle do not cross the work area of the construction site and make the road more crowded during delivering material. Next, traffic management is managing to improve the visibility. For example, all of the machinery plant is equipped with the side mirror, reversing camera, CCTV monitor and sensor in order to aid the driver to aware and alert the movement around them. Next is install the visual warning device like flashing light to the plant vehicle to enable the driver to warn another labor nearby. Lastly is all the worker and plant will be ensured to wear the reflective jacket to provide high visibility during working in the dark condition.
Next is labor management. Labor management is a very important technique used by a contractor. Labor is an aspect to a construction project. Effective use of labor is vigorously pursued by a good project leadership in construction. Availability of labor will always be adequate to carry out all construction work via a proper labor management and complete on time without any delay in work. A good labor management can minimize time and cost of loss. The first type of labor management is labor productivity. A good productivity of labor will contribute to the high productivity of the construction process. Some considerations that will influence the efficiency of the job on site. Some of the labor have a difficulties because of their age and also because of their skill and experience that they have. Managers with a good leadership hope to encourage and influence their employees to work loyally and faithfully among the employees without any discrimination. So it will give them a motivation and it will decrease their performance. Next is primary need satisfaction. As we know, house and food is primary need for a woman, for, for a human, and also for the construction labor. If the primary need of the labor is complete, their motivation to complete the work progress is highest. It will also help to increase the work capacity and the time management the, whenever the need of the labor is provided. Sometimes contractors need to give them some bonus, salary increment, salary increment, or other should be given to their labor from the time to time based on their performance and work. It is because if the contractor gives them some bonus, salary increment, it will give their it will help to increase their work capacity. Next is the safety of labor. The management needs to do an inspection frequently on the equipment that will be used by a labor to make sure that the safety of the labor is granted. The contractor or the management need to train all the workers on the site about the protection, medical emergency and work process before entering the site. The management also needs to provide the equipment for all the labor. As we know, construction site is a dangerous place and has lot of incidents. So managers to de- to check the site first and to detect the condition of the site before hiring the staff to conduct schedule work. The lastly is labor shortage. Culvert workers that have ability that expertise to conduct their work well and successfully. However, in construction projects, the biggest problem that will always happen is shortage of skilled laborers. Factor of labor shortage is because of labor union strike, conflict between labor party and many construction sites in the area, high demand for wages and many more.
Okay. Now, I would like to talk about waste management. Okay, as we know, in construction industry, is known to be an important boost to the Malaysia economy. However, it also creates waste construction activity. Managing construction waste is also a problem if it is not properly handled, since it will have a very negative impact on the environment, society, and ultimately the economy. Building-related waste management is costly, and yeah, however, we can recommend the social waste is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay. It is true that the efficient and reliable elimination and minimization of waste and the reuse of material are important aspect of the design and construction activities. Um, Creativity, patience, knowledge of available markets and industry, and awareness of current law are essential skills for design and construction professional. As we can see through the figure at the slide, um, there have a hierarchy of um, waste management, which is starting from eliminate, reduce, reuse, recycle, and dispose. And for the second is minimization of waste. In this project, any construction related waste may be reduced. For example, construction material in this project may be chosen on the basis that they are built and produced to be delivered with minimal packaging. The collection and use of recyclable materials and goods provided the ability to reduce waste. And for the lastly is reuse of material. Um, for the reuse, for example, such as door and window in nice, resealable condition may replace new items or may be donated and sold for use in another project. A type of valuable reuse. Materials and goods that cannot be easily and efficiently disposed of, reduced, or reused are eventually accumulated and, unless handled, are likely to be disposed of at the lowest cost. In certain areas of the world, the cost of disposal at solid waste landfill is considerably higher than the cost of separation and recovery, including the cost of disposal for residues. Okay, mm, we are going to the tips that can help to reduce in order to manage waste management. Okay, we have four steps, which is starting with before designing stages, during the design of culvert, dealing with the contractor, and the construction of culvert site. Okay, for the first, before designing stages. Okay, first we should analyze the site, such as identifying the characteristics and constraint of the project site, observing the microclimates, nearby roads, houses, and etc. And then for the second, meet the project team. which is involve the whole team and explore ways to change the design to reduce waste and decide if the things you want are feasible. Communication is essential to the success of the implementation. And for the third is do some research. Find out about the best procedures and materials that can minimize waste. And 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 for the second stage is during the design of Culvert. Okay, during the design of Culvert, we can apply the concept of less is more. That is planned by the Culvert for simplicity and ease for use. Based on this project, we choose low technology and simple solution because simple solutions are far less likely to break down or need maintenance. They often cost less and use less energy. And for the second is um, to schedule the project carefully. Okay, speak to the project teams about the design and find ways to use less resources and create less waste. Have an intense brainstorming session with all members. Time spent on the planning stage would be compensated throughout the construction and lifespan of the project. Making adjustment during or after construction can be very difficult. And for the third, we maybe can keep record of all the design specific, encourage potential repairs and maintenance, and ensure that less waste is caused by trying to find leaking pipe or defective cables. And for the last is um, build a potential culvert using durable and low maintenance materials, which is design covered to make modification and repair simpler. In addition, we select materials and parts that can be reused and mounted in a way that allows screw to be disassembled instead of nails. And we are going to the third stage, which is dealing with the contractor. Okay, dealing with the contractor, we can deal and discuss waste management problems before contracts are signed in order to prevent renegotiation, which can result in extra costs. A training session for all interested bidder will save time and ensure that the problem are the problem the problem are understood by all parties. Contractor should require a WMP prior to the start of work. And for the last stages is the construction of covered site. For the construction of covered site, okay, first maybe we must make sure that the construction site is kept tidy. Provide a suitable area to store material, and this should be covered if possible. Waste should be separate and recycled if it can be reused. Ask supplier to take back packaging materials. A tidy site will reduce loss and damage of materials and increase safety because workers are less likely to trip over things. And for the second is maybe we can see through the materials, which is materials should be cut and they are off-cut store at a central location. It is much easier to reuse off-cuts if you don't have to hunt for them all over the site. This technique has reduced waste by 15%. And for the third is reuse temporary work such as scaffolding and formwork for concrete. This is particularly useful when construction several identical projects. which is select more durable materials such as metal to avoid waste. Reusable crates are better than plastic or cardboard wrapping. And for the fourth is estimate material correctly and arrange for them to arrive just in time to avoid material being damaged during storage. And for the lastly, contractor can isolate and sort waste materials at the assigned location or use a company that sort waste after processing and sell recyclable or recycled material. Okay, then we're going to advantage of having a good waste management. Which is for the first is cost saving and profit maximization. Increased focus on waste reduction, reuse and recycling will lead to the beneficial results, such as cost saving. The needless procurement of new material which can be supplemented by reuse or recycle result in extra cost. In addition, producing less waste from the project decrease the cost of disposal and the cost of landfills, thereby reduce the overall cost of project. In addition, cost reduction will in turn increase income. And for the second, the advantage of waste management is reduce demand for landfill spaces, which is minimizing the amount of waste sent to landfill for disposal, can lead to the less demand for landfill and reduction of negative environmental effect such as noise, pollution, effect of landfill as well as emission and residues from incinerators. And for the third advantage is improve management of resources. Okay, a waste management also includes the preparation and monitoring of resources allocated to project to control the amount of waste produced. Enhanced control of resources can also be accomplished by reducing waste as well as improving the overall efficiency of the management of assets. And for the last is picturing progress. Implementation of waste management as a company policy can allow companies to enhance their public image as environmental friendly companies by enhancing their customer impression.